Steeler Nation, what is up? We are back for another week of Steelers football talk on the one and only Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. Just want to shout out our worldwide fan base, Steelers Austria, Steeler Nation Germany, up in New York, Arizona, Florida. It's Steeler Nation worldwide. Mike, how are you today?
I'm good, man. You made me hungry for a bratwurst. Shouting out Steelers Germany
go.
over there. If you're watching from Germany, send us over some good eats from wherever you're at. Appreciate the your following and watching, of course, man. I'm good. You know what I realized? I was thinking about this the other day. A lot of people are consistently tuned into the podcast. We always get to the guests so quick because we're so excited to bring them on that sometimes I forget to just go over some things that are happening on a weekly basis with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'll just touch on a few things really quickly, Jordan. Then we can bring in somebody we're really excited to talk to, per usual. Love having these new Steelers on to be able to introduce you to them. So just a couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, today I heard from a member of the Steelers pro personnel team that Calvin Austin, receiver, who was hurt all last year with a Lisfranc foot injury, is supposed to be a big part of this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Contrary to my beliefs throughout the past few months, I thought maybe they would ease him back into things given his age and inexperience still. But apparently this guy is all over the playbook. So we can look forward to that in the preseason. I think that was the big news today that dropped. And also the defense, man. A defensive practice has been picking off Kenny Pickett left and right. I don't think that is, a knock against Pickett. Obviously, it's practice. He's trying to
It's his birthday today.
It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Kenny Pickett, by the way. He's trying to fire the ball all around the field, of course, fitting into tight windows and doing some things differently. So interceptions don't matter, at least from the quarterback perspective. But they matter for guys like Mark Robinson, Corey Trice, Joey Porter Jr., who are really standing out right now. And so let's have a defensive show. Let's bring another defensive guy on. What do you say?
Yeah. Sammy, let's do it. Toby!
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Harris Smith shields. Flacco, Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
How y'all doing?
I guess we're
Good.
just going to bring
going on, man. Let's do it. Let's jump right into it. Let's love it.
Jump right
Joining
into
us, the new Pittsburgh Steeler, Toby and Duque. Toby, thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Definitely.
Good. You're already rocking that Steelers tee. Well, man, we love to see that. So listen, let's jump right into it and introduce you to some of our Steelers fans. First of all, you get an invite to Steelers rookie minicamp, Toby. What is your initial reaction, and tell me about that experience?
Man, it was it felt good. Just being seen and being heard. The experience, it went really well. I got there, and as soon as I touched down, I was just eager to get to work, eager to show the coaches, my capabilities from an athletic standpoint, what I can do and how I can retain information. And that entire process and experience was a really, really good experience for me.
Well, obviously it went really well because you are at camp currently wearing, like I said, that Pittsburgh Steelers t-shirt proudly. Tell me a little bit about how grateful you were to just see that hard work come to fruition.
Man, it was just really grateful, man. I thank God and just like you said, all the hard work and dedication through the years, just finally coming into the light, and now I get an opportunity to display all that work in the big stage, and just continue to be grateful and just be thankful, and also continue to put in the work on a day-to-day basis.
Well, Toby, let's talk a little bit about all that work you put in your formative years, if you will. Obviously, 4 seasons at SMU. You go on to play at Sam Houston State for a year as well. Obviously, playing at these schools, you're wearing a lot of hats. I know you played some special teams at SMU, and you were a guy, honestly, at the end of the day, it sounds like, who really was able to pride himself on wearing all different hats and playing a bunch of different roles, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So, I would say majority of my time at SMU, I was pretty much a special teams player. And I took pride in that. And that's something that I worked on every day. We had a lot of talented guys at SMU, especially in my position, the DN outside linebacker position. And so, I just had to find my role within the mix, and special teams was my place. And just through the 4 years there, just being on special teams, really just finding ways to elevate my game in that department really got me, I would say, to where I am. Really got me to where I am nowadays, today. So it feels good.
And then you head over to Sam Houston State. Big productive year, of course. Bunch of quarterback hurries. I saw you're intercepting passes left and right over there as an outside linebacker too. Make 35 tackles. Just tell me about that experience. I know that transition can't be easy. You're somewhere, you're down there in Texas for so long, obviously, at one school at SMU. You make a transition, you go somewhere for 1 year. Mentally, tell me about that transition.
It wasn't an easy transition. Entering the transfer portal at pretty much the last minute. Not the feeling of unknown and not knowing what the future holds during that transfer portal process. But man, when Sam Houston came into the mix and when I took that visit, I fell in love immediately. And I knew that if I was to finish my college football career, it definitely would have been a Sam Houston. And so just being there, coming in there in June, putting in the work from day one, getting to know the guys, the coaches, and the staff, man, just falling in love with everybody, and them also falling in love with me. It made everything just easier and felt welcomed. And so just made me want to just go even harder and just give it my all, not only for myself, but for the organization as well. And I just had a breakout season that year. And there I wore a lot of hats as well, played multiple positions, and just wanted to have an impact in wherever I was at on the field. And I believe I did just that. But yeah, I'm grateful to the university and just my time there.
We're hanging out with Toby Ndukwe, one of the newest Pittsburgh Steelers here on the Sick Podcast, Steelers Crazy. I got one more point, I guess. It maybe not even be a question before I turn it over to my partner here, Jordan York. 4.65 40 time, am I right?
Yes, sir.
One of the fastest you've ever run? Were you happy with that? We always like to ask some of these guys, and most guys are like, man, I should have beat that.
Yeah, I was pleased with it.
Good, yeah.
Man, it's just a testament to, because I trained with Coach Parker, who was my strength coach at Sam Houston, and just credit to him for getting me ready and getting me right for that 40, and man, it felt really good when I saw the numbers.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say, come on, man, you ran a 4.65 blazing 40. I was like, I know people put a lot of pressure on their shoulders and high expectations, but that's about as damn good as it gets, Jordan.
Yeah, definitely. And I was, before you asked that other question, I was going to tell him everything that Toby's saying. You just sound like the ultimate team player, willing to do whatever. I think that Steeler Nation will definitely receive that with open arms. So my question for you, you kind of talked about rookie mini camp. Now you're at camp officially. What is some of the interactions that you just been like, wow, you worked so hard to get to this moment, and now you're in the big leagues. Just kind of talk about how surreal that was, and any players, coaches, interactions that you had, Mike Tomlin specifically, maybe something like that you could tell us.
Yeah. Even up till now, we're 2 weeks in the OTAs, and it's still a surreal feeling to me. As far as interactions, just seeing the veterans and watching them work. I'm a big observation guy. I like to observe and just sit back and seeing guys like TJ, Alex, Cam Hayward, and all these guys has been around for a long time, been successful in this league. Watching them work, taking coaching points from them, it's like wow, like I'm not only am I in the big leagues, but I'm amongst the greats and the greatest to ever do it, and just taking it one day at a time, and just keep working.
Definitely. So if you had to give a scouting report on yourself, like you're introducing yourself right now to Steeler Nation, before the real preseason and then the season, what would you say like some of your strengths are? Like if you were selling yourself, what would you got to give us a scouting report on Toby?
Man, I would say my strength is my versatility, my athleticism. Just I can wear many hats on the defense, on special teams, and also have an impact. And just I'm a guy who's a game changer, also a playmaker as well. Like you said, I'm a team player, and I take pride in those things as well. So.
Definitely. Well, my last question before I throw it back over to Mike was, how much were you able to soak in from some of the veteran guys like Cam Hayward and Alex Highsmith? But you kind of already touched on that. So, Mike, you can take it over.
Yeah, I mean, you just gave a scouting report, obviously, on yourself. But sometimes we want to ask some of these guys, what do you think some weaknesses are? If what are some things you personally want to work on? Obviously, it's not your 40 time, but outside of that, what are some things you're looking to improve right now, Toby?
Just my technique. Technique is probably my biggest thing right now that I want to improve. And also just slowing down.
Sure.
Slowing down and actually just not letting the game play me, but playing the game and just taking time when I'm soaking in information, not being too jittery, and like all my life playing this game, I've always been playing it fast, playing it full speed to practice or games but now I'm in the big leagues, just slowing down and taking my time to work the technique correctly and process information.
Playing the game, not letting the game play me. I love that, Jordan.
Put that on a
great
t-shirt.
quote. I'll put that on a t-shirt. I think Toby could write a book, and that should be the title right there. I'm ready to run through a wall.
New York Times bestseller right there, Toby.
I'm telling you, New York Times bestseller. Put them on the list. That is straight fire and heat. I mean, prophetic stuff right there. Absolutely a prophet. I love that, Jordan. Go ahead, take it away.
So we always like to ask when we have new Steelers on here, we talk so much about football, on the show. Tell us a little bit more about, your personality, some of your hobbies. What does Toby do when he's not, in the gym or on the football field?
It's tough because, I love to work out. I love to be in the gym.
I could tell.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, so just but if I'm not in the gym or on the field or watching film, I'm a huge UFC guy. I love UFC.
Yeah.
Started watching it probably high school, but huge Izzy fan who's a current middleweight champion in the world right now. Saw his last fight, spectacular. But I would say I like it for different reasons than most. I'm in it for the mindset of the fighters and the way they approach their fights, the way they prepare for their fights, the mental game. Like it's really just all mental. Fighting is fighting is instinct, but the mental capacity, the mental game that they have and that takes place throughout the process of preparing for those fights is what really intrigues me. And so I watch a lot of their interviews and just study the way they talk, the way they move, how they generate confidence, and I like to instill that into my play and my game.
Man,
you ever trained MMA, Toby?
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe you can be like a dual athlete,
Maybe I haven't officially trained, but I've done things here and there, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, nothing official.
Definitely. So, kind of when did you get to Pittsburgh exactly and like find out that, hey, I'm going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, and what have you liked about it the most so far? If you were able to, go and enjoy any restaurants or just kind of check out the scenery.
Oh man, got here little over 2 weeks ago. And you know, just on our days off, I tried the incline.
Okay.
Nice.
And
Mike used to live up there, so yeah. Mount Washington.
Yeah, Mount Washington. Looking over the overpass and seeing the view of the city is just immaculate.
The stadium's right there.
Yeah, just everything, and especially at nighttime. In my opinion, I think nighttime is the best time to go. But that's probably one of the biggest. I'm a big nature guy, so I like to walk and observe nature and step into reality for a little bit. I went to OTB, which is like it's OTB North Park, which is
yeah. There's a bunch of them around here. Good place.
Yeah. So just, you know, go fishing and just observe. So yeah,
I like it, man. I think Pittsburgh's gonna like you, and we can't wait to see you on the field. This has just been a great time. What do you say, Mike?
Yeah, obviously, Toby, we're rooting for you, like we always say, man. Let us know if you need anything moving forward. We're gonna be in your corner for sure. I'll throw it out an MMA reference right there for you. We're in your corner.
There you go.
And we're ready to see you fight Izzy Adesanya one of these. I'm ready to see you take him. You'd have to drop a weight class, I think.
There's a whole bunch of weight there. Yeah.
No, man, that would be exciting. Well, good stuff, man. We'll be following your path wherever it may lead. We appreciate you joining us. That is
Thank you, Toby.
Thanks so much, man.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, again, just these guys are just great, man. And it's just Pittsburgh's such a great city. The Steelers are such a great football organization. I mean, it's just even just to be in that building, I mean, in itself, like imagine just telling your kids, like, I'm in here, man. This is the big leagues.
I'll probably rattle a bunch of Pittsburghers who are still watching or listening by throwing this name out there. But I did see a tweet today from Andrew Filipponi that just kind of hit me differently. It really hit me differently. He tweeted some of the worst teams in Pittsburgh sports history. And it was kind of in relation to the Pittsburgh Pirates playing the Oakland Athletics now, who are literally 12-50.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
They're on pace to win like 32 games. It's insane.
I've never seen a team that bad in my life. Unfortunately, at 12-50, how's that even possible? That's tough for those guys, obviously. But listen, they're playing Major League Baseball for a living, so how tough can it be? Anyway, my point is, he was trying to compare some of the worst Pittsburgh teams of all time to this A's team, and they were like the Pirates of 2005. There was like a Penguins of 2000 or like 19, post Lemieux for a couple years, 98. His Steelers team, the suckiest Steelers team of recent times was 1969, I'm pretty sure. That just shows you it took 60 years for him to go back and find maybe what would be the worst Steelers team that he's heard of through the grapevine, because I'm sure he wasn't watching that team. But you want to sum up, a franchise, and listen, obviously we get a lot of crap around here. You guys are homers. You guys are biased. Why don't you ever talk negatively about the Steelers? Well, we do. Check me out on Twitter every once in a while. But at the end of the day, we're spoiled
come
1969.
Regular season, yes.
1969. He went back for the Pittsburgh Steelers and said, "This is maybe the worst team." Steelers. Listen, they've had some bad years in between there, obviously, but that jumped out to me. How lucky we are as a fan base. Think about how the fan base is.
Even the Penguins.
They embrace these interviews that we have. These are guys that they would admit themselves, like they don't, they've been in Pittsburgh for 2 weeks, never been there in their life, but we get 5,000-10,000 views and listens on these shows because people want to learn more about their Pittsburgh Steelers and some of these players. Man, it's dope. It really is.
Yeah, and we're gonna, get right back to it. We have another special guest coming up on Thursday. We'll probably release it Friday, so it's just going to be a good time here over at the Sick Podcast Steeler Crazy. So make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Thanks to our man Toby. Best of luck in black and gold. I am Jay York Football. This is Mic'd Up Sports One. Michael Nicastro, Mic'd Up Sports One. 2 peas in a pod. It's been another great episode.
Shout out Mount Washington.
Yeah.
Mount Washington. Let's go Bucks.
Darnell Washington. Let's go
Mount
Bucks.
Darnell. Mount Washington.
Dude, he had and we can run it to Sammy after this, but Toby had so many like just great quotes like that I would just put on a t-shirt. Like just again, another guy easy to root for.
And I thought he was going to break the screen when he jumped on because he's so damn built. He's so freaking big. If Darnell Washington is Mount Washington, he's Mount Ndukwe or something like that. We'll call him like Ndukwe Island because he's full of mass.
Most definitely. Hey, Sammy, we'll see you next time.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.